Hello everyone, it is Tristan Folks, and we got a CANMNT national team preview. And in this edition, it is the June international window ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So final preparations are going to be underway throughout the next week before that anticipated day of June 12th, which they will host Bosnia and Herzegovina in Toronto, Ontario to open up this home World Cup. And it's going to be the usual 2 friendly matches for this window, with both matches at home, and this side may look very healthy on paper, but the reality is there are a lot of nags. So we'll go into some big details on that just so you have an idea what Canada will likely field coming up in these friendlies. This video will also go fairly quick due to a lot of uncertainties, but let's take a look at the schedule and our opponents. It all begins on June 1st as Canada will host Uzbekistan, who are making their FIFA World Cup debuts this year in Edmonton, Alberta, at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium, with kickoff at 9 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. local time. Uzbekistan is out of the Asian Football Confederation, and they are currently ranked 50th by FIFA. This is a side that is growing as a football nation, and they have some firepower up front, like the captain Shomadorov playing in the Super League, as well as Manchester City defender Kuzunov. After that, they'll head to the States of Saputo in Montreal, Quebec for their send-off match against the Republic of Ireland on June 5th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern local time. They did not qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup as they lost to Czechia in the first round of the playoff. So they are just treating this as their last match as preparation for the 2026-2027 UEFA Nations League in September. They are coming off a 1-0 win against Qatar that saw a red card for each side, and currently they are ranked 59th by FIFA, with their top player being Troy Parrott from the Eredivisie champions PSV. And notably, Canada plays Qatar, so this will be a good measuring point. Now we're going to take a look at the roster. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces, and you're going to think this team looks really healthy, but a lot of these come with twists due to injuries, and at this moment, there are only 25 players on this roster due to a sudden injury we'll talk about later on. But beginning with some of these players returning, we have Alistair Johnston. He's making his return coming off a good, successful season for Celtic with some hardware. He is 100% fit. Alfie Jones makes his return from injury, but he has not played since the end of last year. Vice-captain Steven Eustachiou will also return after an injury aggravation in March alongside his club teammate Jacob Schaffelberg. Moise Bombito makes his return for the first time in over a year, but isn't 100% just yet. And that's the same for the captain Alphonso Davies, who is on this roster. And lastly, Promise David returned from a miracle recovery, but he isn't 100% fit just yet either. There are only 2 players on the injury list that won't feature whatsoever, and that is Sam Adekubi, who has been recovering from a torn Achilles for almost a year now, and most recently, Marcelo Flores, who is named on the roster, withdrew after tearing his ACL in the 2026 CONCACAF Champions Cup final for Tigres, which they lost in PKs. This loss can feel detrimental because he had the ability to open the game up, and a replacement will be named after the friendlies. There are 29 other eligible players, but based on the players who didn't make it out of pre-camp, I believe we are looking at one of these 6 players. Canada is notably thin at left back and in that wing-back role on that left side as well. Building onto that, I'm not really sure how these 6 guys are exactly going to compete, if any of these players even get involved in these friendlies, which it is a possibility, but I have not heard anything just yet because Marsh has been dead silent. But it could be anyone from Priso, who played as left back in training most recently, Jefferson, who isn't even with the team, and maybe even Basong if you want a natural fullback on the left. But that torn ACL from Marcelo Flores is honestly just a true heartbreaker, and it just hurts to see the emotion of, seeing his family proud, and then he lost his chance a day later, and he just looked in, shambles. And I do understand these confederation tournaments, like UEFA Champions League, they usually end around now anyways, but I wish, they found another way. And Mexico did have their players that were eligible for this match sit out, but I honestly don't see the problem that Flores played in it. And it's just, the risk that you take. Now I'm going to do a starting 11 prediction here, and this is going to be really based off who's ready for minutes, who is not ready. where players are in their return to play statuses, and it's really just, going to come down to the nitty gritty. So first, there are some players that I do not expect to see in this first friendly especially. That includes Jacob Schaffelberg, who just got involved in training with the team instead of by himself. Alphonso Davies will not play in either friendly after having that hamstring injury at Bayern Munich. Ali Ahmed, he seems like a no-go against Uzbekistan. It sounds like that will be the same for Promise David, but that seems to be more out of precautions. But we could see these guys in the second match in Montreal. I'm also not going to make any bench predictions because I think a lot of shifting will happen that can be unpredictable, and I just want to give a shout out to Matthew Shinetti of TSN, and then you got KJ of One Soccer. They've kept us in the loop very well, so I appreciate y'all. Now to begin with the starting 11, we'll begin with the goalkeeper position, and that is Orlando City's Maxime Crepeau, who has been confirmed to start against Uzbekistan. He will split the match with Dane St. Clair, but either way, I do believe Crepeau is the guy upon June 12th. At left back, I'm not sure what his situation is, but I feel we're going to see Toronto's own Richie Laryea play the first half as he returns from an injury, but you also could see Nico Seeger. Alongside him, it's going to be Derek Cornelius, who will start for sure with his set-piece ability and growing veteran presence as a defender. On his right, this one may surprise you, but I have Moise Bombito starting because he did play in a close friendly. I think he just plays the first half as he gets back playing, but if he's not ready, you can insert either Luke DeFugaroles or a guaranteed healthy Joel Waterman. Out at right back, it will be Alistair Johnson without a doubt, unless he's flip-flopped as Seeger enters the lineup. Moving up towards the midfield, out in that left winger wingback role, it's Mr. Premier League Liam Miller, Hull City, the only healthy player in that position. In the heart of the midfield, we'll see Stefan Eustachio returning where the captains are banned in both of those friendlies. And on his right, we'll have Ismail Kone, who's coming off a great season in Italy for Sassuolo. Out on the right, Tajon Buchanan of Villarreal will return from his suspension, who missed the last match due to a red card against Iceland, but the appeal that it wasn't violent conduct was successful. And up front, we're going to have Kyle Larin of Southampton alongside the all-time goal-scoring leader Jonathan David of Juventus. We could see Larin drop in a lot and play behind David. So that's what my starting 11 looks like. I threw in some surprises there as mentioned, but I do get some vibes that Marshall's going to try to get some people in. We're going to see mass changes at halftime in this first match against Uzbekistan especially. But now it's time to make some predictions on these score lines. So in Edmonton against Uzbekistan, the weather is going to play a role. It's going to be cold. It's going to be rainy. It's also going to be in the evening. So I'm going to look at a 2-1 win for Canada here. We'll have the goal split by Jonathan David and Kyle Larin. And in the send-off match against the Republic of Ireland, we know they're not playing against the strongest side, and as much as I believe in some of their players, I think we're going to see a 3-0 win in Montreal for Canada here. And those goals are going to come from Derek Cornelius, Ismail Kone, and Liam Miller. We'll see how close or how far these predictions end up being, but those are going to be my guesses right off the bat. All right, everybody, that's going to be the end of the men's national team preview, which that was very quick due to, as mentioned, a lot of uncertainties. I also wanted to show y'all my kits, but I don't have them on me right now, so that'll have to come another time. But coming up, we are going to have a way more in-depth preview ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup group stage, when things should look a lot better. But, it's all about these final preparations right now. And then the women's national team will also return to action coming up this month. So expect a preview for that to come as well very soon. And there's also going to be a lot of content building up to this tournament as well. So if you are new here, hit that subscribe button to support myself and the channel. And I hope to see y'all very soon. Take care.